Hello everyone, and welcome back to the woods at Lone Pine Tarot. I hope you're having a joyful day or night wherever you are, though if it hasn't been full of sunshine, I hope this reading can offer you a message to change that. Today's pick a card topic is one of my favorites in tarot, reaching out to your ancestors to see what they want to say to you. Because I find that ancestors are very good at offering both grounded advice, and there's just something special and extra comforting about their energy and messages in my experience. So, let's now choose our piles to receive just that. Over here on the left for pile 1 today, your pile leader is the Stream card. In the middle for pile 2, your pile leader is the Bees card. And on the right for pile 3, your pile leader is the Hare card. Pause here, of course, if you'd like a little more time to choose, but when you're ready, your timestamp is waiting in the description below. I'll see you in your reading. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 1. Welcome today to your ancestor message, and of course, as you recall, your pile leader of choice was the beautiful card of Stream. We have, well, of course, the titular Stream here in the middle, but very specifically, there are two figures in this card. Of course, we have the most prominent white butterfly, which represents rebirth, renewal, new things coming about, and we have the darker kind of cloaked figure off to the side, juxtaposed, and that is because this card represents both the flow of life in how things come and in how things go. The butterfly is the new things coming in, just like things washing our way from a stream. And the dark figure is letting go of old things that no longer serve us, like water taking away down a stream, something that we no longer need. So to kind of summarize is, I think your ancestor today, or maybe even multiple ancestors might be reaching out today, we'll see, are, at least part of their message is about either something coming into your life, flowing into your life, or something finally flowing out of your life because of the meaning of this card that you were drawn to most today. So keep that in mind as we go through your other cards. We'll weave together all of the symbolism and meanings, of course. First, we're going to kind of look into who this ancestor is with the archetypes cards, as well as some tarot cards to see more about what it is they're kind of reaching out to today, either in addition to that message or kind of excuse me, I can't talk today, kind of explaining on the same thing is I guess what I was trying to say. Expanding on the message or adding another one. That's a better way to summarize it before I had my brain fart. Okay. Anyways, ancestors of pile 1 that want to reach out today, could you give us a card that tells us more about how you'd like to represent yourself to them? Thank you. What archetype would you identify with most? Big deck, so lots of choices, and I'm feeling quite drawn to this one back here. We have the archetype of the wounded child. So it says light attributes, awakens compassion and desire to serve other wounded children, opens the learning path of forgiveness. Or shadow attributes, blames all dysfunctional relationships on childhood wounds, resists moving on through forgiveness. And it's very interesting that that card popped up, pile 1, because we just talked about with your Stream card about how a lot of that meaning with that card is about either letting things go from the past or welcoming in the new, like flowing to you through the power of like a metaphorical stream. And then we have this archetypes card that talks about either someone who forgives and then moves on to the future, or focuses on the past and is unable to let go of the past. So I think that's specifically why this particular ancestor is reaching out to you today, is because in their lifetime, whether you recognize them from this particular lifetime that you're in or not, they either had struggles with letting go of old pains, or they had struggles welcoming in new energy, okay, or kind of maybe both at the same time. Usually it kind of goes hand in hand, and I think on top of that, you might recognize them if they were in this particular lifetime with you already, someone who might have literally actually physically been wounded as a child, or like they had some sort of childhood disease, or it could have been some sort of, like I said, a wound that carried on with them, or disease that carried on with them into adulthood from childhood. That, or it's possible that maybe they actually perished during childhood too. I'm seeing it more kind of as a, like I said, like a disease or some sort of thing that held them back in some way for most of you. But as I said, some of you, this might be an ancestor that actually did perish in childhood. I also see them as very protective of children too, especially because we see here the figure She is kind of wrapping her arms around, we can't really see them very well, but she is wrapping her arms around these children in front of her and facing the light. And so I think especially if this person was wounded in their childhood, or actually could have been on top of physical wounding, it could have been literally like they were very emotionally or like mentally wounded in childhood too. Either way, physical, mental, or emotional, if they did survive to adulthood, part of their life purpose was giving compassion to helping other people that went through the exact same things that they went through. So that's what they're saying to you today, is an identifier or marker of who they are. Very possible too that they did maybe have dark hair. We'll see, black hair perhaps, but we'll look at the tarot cards from the first tarot deck today to see a little bit more about themselves, as well as more about why they're reaching out to you. So thank you, Ancestor of Pile 1, for talking to us, for reaching out, for connecting. We would like to know a little bit more about why you're reaching out, besides, of course, the first oracle message, as well as maybe you could tell us more about yourself on top of the archetype. Thank you. We have the Seven of Pentacles. We have that orange pop up again, both from the wounded card, but also wearing orange. Makes me wonder if maybe they did like the color orange, maybe that you associate that with them a lot. Once again, if you did see them or know them in this particular lifetime that you're in right now. Also, the Seven of Pentacles is someone who likes to start things, or there's a lot of their life that revolved around the beginning, which once again ties back into that wounded child kind of energy we were talking about. They could have also possibly been a farmer or grew up on a farm, because that is, in terms of describing people, the Seven of Pentacles is like a farmer of some sort, or someone who did work with the land or gardened a lot too. And then we have, excuse me, my voice is a bit scratchy, the Ten of Pentacles reversed, okay? Yes, had struggles with their family, especially their parents or their grandparents, and or with their own children, if they did grow to adulthood to have children of their own. Because the Ten of Pentacles reversed is usually struggles with generations and family, struggles with inheritance. There might have been a fight over inheritance during their lifetime. And on top of that, you have two Pentacles cards already. This makes me wonder if they were an earth sign in their life, pile 1, because Pentacles is earth energy in tarot. All right, Ancestor, once again, why else are you reaching out? We talked a bit about you. Why are you reaching out to? It's very possible that they're trying to tell you, too, that they want to help you with something that you're starting new, because we did see the newness with the stream card, and then the Seven of Pentacles is usually about starting new things, new projects, especially regarding finances, career, money, those things. And then, okay, yep, that's why we were right on, bang on. We have the Ace of Pentacles, another Earth card once again. Pretty sure they were an Earth side, or they had a lot of those placements, pile 1 in their chart, when they were alive in this lifetime. And on top of that, Ace of Pentacles is, yes, a new opportunity or starting something new, a new project when it comes to like career, finance, business, stability, those things. I wonder if a lot of you really are starting a new business, or you've been considering starting a new business, or starting a new career, starting a new job, or even if you're not currently in a career, because I know some of my viewers are like retired, or that's just not like a main focus of theirs. It can also just be opportunities in general with like new projects that you've been doing, even if it's not like literally a career of some sort, right? So that's definitely, they want to talk to you about new stuff today. And then we have the last card, the Four of Wands. Okay, so there's a little bit of a side message here. They also want to talk to you about something regarding stability in the home, something to be celebrated. Lots of stable energy. There's someone who, if you knew them in their lifetime, pile 1, they were very grounding, very down to earth, very sensible. This person was very common sense. Okay, this is the energy I'm getting off of them. They're not, I mean, not that they didn't have dreams, but they're not they're not like a dreamy person I'm hearing. They're someone who is very like realistic. That's maybe a better way to put it. Like, this is just the way life is. This is the way life goes. This is who I am, I'm hearing. And despite their struggles, they were so generous and compassionate. Because I see that too with all these Pentacles energy as well, like just very generous with material things. I wonder if they didn't have a lot of money when they were young, and therefore they were generous with it when they had it with others when they were older. Something about that I'm also hearing. Okay, beautiful energy. And then we'll look at your Lantern Oracle too. And then we'll tie all these messages together with the main tarot spread. We'll ask specifically more about what they want to say about this new opportunity, as well as the stability in the home message, but we'll see what the Lantern Oracle says first, okay? We have wisdom in play number 3. She has a blindfold on. She's pouring. Kind of makes me think of temperance. It's like that imagery of pouring back and forth, maybe even kind of like Aquarius too. Wisdom in play. Our intuition knows more than we do. So they're saying to you, pile 1, you are doubting your intuition too much when it comes to this new project or these things that you've been working on. Also things regarding stability in the home or something that you want to have celebrated in some way. Also, because of the Ten of Pentacles reversed, you might have been having some struggles with family recently. Maybe you've been struggling starting a new chapter with family recently too, I'm hearing for some of you. Once again, no matter how that resonates with you or how that applies to you, this ancestor is saying you need to trust your intuition more. Look less with your eyes, hear less with your ears, and listen to what your inner intuition, almost like that radio signal we all have deep down inside our gut is maybe a better way to put it too, and let it tune in. I think you're doubting yourself too much too, especially when it comes to new things, because once again, I just noticed this. You have the color white very prominent with this card, and white once again is like the new, innocence, brand, well, I already said new, I guess, but like brand new things like I was saying, okay? Okay, so let's look at your main tarot spread. So, Spirit, Ancestor of pile 1. Could you give me, and normally I do kind of a timeline spread with my readings. I'm actually going to kind of split this spread into the 2 different questions at least, and we'll see if maybe there's a third one at the end. So the first question, Spirit, Ancestor of pile 1. Could you give me 2 or 3 cards on what it is you want to say to them regarding the new project that they want to start or that they already just did start? Besides that they need to trust their intuition more, although if the High Priestess comes out, we'll know that's quite emphasized. Okay, we have the Ace of Tides, or as it's known in most decks, Cups reversed. Okay, we'll kind of spread them in a bit of a fan here so we know there's separate questions. And then we have the Page of Pentacles or Stones. Yes, exploring opportunities, exploring learning too. I wonder if a lot of you have been painting or drawing recently too, because specifically it almost looks like architectural drawings because there is a compass here, but like planning for the future, looking through the window and drawing up dreams. And then we have the 4 of Swords reversed, okay? Something finally becoming active. Okay, so they're saying to you in terms of the new thing that you've been trying to start or have just started, pile 1. Take it as it resonates with whichever is more resonant with your situation, okay? They are saying that you are doing good in terms of your exploration of it. They're saying you're doing well in terms of your planning, hence that message with the Page of Pentacles that came out, or Page of Stones, okay? However, their advice to you with this new thing is act sooner than later. I mean, planning is great, don't get me wrong, and this ancestor also, because they were so sensible and earth kind of element focused with their energy and their spirit, right? They would also be quite the planner, right? You know, most of the time in life when I've met people that are really good at planning, they're either air or earth signs, especially earth signs, I would say. So they recognize that and they think that's good. However, they're saying with the 4 of Swords reversed especially, it's time to wake up something. It's time to make something active instead of sleepy. They know that with the Ace of Cups reversed, it might be because you just don't feel it's the right time to start something, or you don't feel that it's the right time to be get something going, okay, or to go to the next step, say if you've already kind of launched the first step, because the Ace of Cups reversed is usually our feelings regarding something new, or sometimes a new relationship, or sometimes a new, it's just that combination of energy with Ace combined with the water energy of Cups, which is, as I said, relationships and emotions in our heart especially. So they know you don't feel it, but now is the time to launch. Now is the time to get active with it, okay? Don't wait. Not that they're saying that something's especially bad is going to happen if you wait, because there's no tower here or anything, right? But at the same time, they're saying it's more in your favor to go forward with the new. That's why it's such an emphasized message with this reading today. There's so much about, the color white and starting things new, both in your Oracle card, 7 of Pentacles, and of course we talked about with the Ace of Pentacles, and then your Wisdom in play with that white color, right? So Okay, that's what they want to say about that. Now, let's ask what they mean about stability in the home and or celebration with the Four of Wands. Okay, Ancestor of pile 1, please. Can you elaborate on that? Thank you. What do you mean by the Four of Wands? Okay, that one popped out real quick. We have the Five of Pentacles reversed. Okay, you're overcoming a hardship regarding the home. That's what they're trying to tell you, especially when it comes to security, stability, or finances. Once again, because we have a Pentacles card, well, stones in this deck, right? You're overcoming a hardship regarding the home and stability. Okay, especially when it comes to money. That's what they're telling you. They're also saying that there will be a choice of some sort because we have the Two of Swords. Usually means, as you can see here, there's two paths diverting. It's like, which path do we take? Hence the choice. And the path or the choice is about the Two of Wands or branches, which is all about planning. Okay, so they're saying you're overcoming a hardship, as I said, especially financially regarding something in the home and your stability. Okay. And after you overcome that hardship, you're going to be brought to a choice or a crossroads of some sort. And they're saying the crossroads is about what do you want to plan for? Hence the Two of Wands, okay? I'm going to actually ask too if they can elaborate on what the two choices are, or what the, actually there might be more than one, I guess, more than two, but also just the nature of the choice in general, okay? Ancestor, what do you mean by this choice, and what are the paths that they'll be open up to pile 1? Thank you. We have the World, okay? So one choice will be to end something. And another choice will be to, well, it's interesting because the Empress reversed is usually about either smothering something or not nurturing something, letting something go. It's kind of a choice between letting go or ending two different things, pile 1. Okay. Ancestor, do you have an opinion on which one they should go with, or is it more you want them to have their own, like it's their decision? What would you say? What choice do you recommend for them if you have a recommendation? We have the Eight of Cups reversed. Okay. Choose whatever choice allows you to leave something that no longer serves you behind, which kind of fascinating actually, pile 1, because we talked about that too with your stream card. Remember at the very beginning when I was like, this card isn't just about welcoming in the new and rebirth of, you know, the innocent, right, with the white butterfly, but also it's about letting go of the old, like leaving something to a stream and letting it flow behind. And literally, what does he cross here in the Eight of Cups? But he crosses a stream, kind of a lake, I would say. Technically a stream or riverbank, it almost looks like. He's choosing to let it go. However, the Eight of Cups reversed might mean that you kind of might struggle with letting it go or letting something go emotionally, but your ancestor is saying it's better in your favor to let or choose the path that allows you to emotionally let go of what no longer serves you, okay? You'll have a choice to end two different things. Pick the one that allows you to do that more easily or more, like it heals you more in terms of letting go of the past, okay? I'm going to see and tap in intuitively here at the end just to see if there's any other messages that your ancestor wants to share with you that isn't related to tarot. I'm going to just ask 1 second here. They're saying something about you typing away a lot at a keyboard, which, I mean, I know in our modern world that's kind of vague because a lot of us are on a computer like most of the day, depending on, you know, your job and your hobbies. But there's something they say that you've really been writing a lot about. I don't know if it's literally like writing a book or like writing up plans for something, especially that new project maybe that you've been wanting to start or you just started. They're saying like a labor of love. Like you're looking at the screen and it's pink, and pink to me symbolically usually means something that we have affection for, something that we love. So it's not work related, it's more about a labor of love. And they're saying that there needs to be something cut. They're saying something about a scissors and needing to cut or snip something. So I don't know if recently some of you have been maybe deciding, like say, just as one example, it might not resonate with all of you. Like if you have been writing, say, a novel, and you've been considering, well, should I cut that scene, or should I cut that chapter, or should I cut that idea? The scissors, to me, symbolically means your ancestor saying, yes, cut that particular thing, or whatever you might be working on, even if it's not a novel, right? Cut something. Cut something with a labor of love that you've been typing on a computer about, okay? That was the last message to you today. pile 1. Okay, so I hope, of course, number 1, that this reading was helpful to you, that it resonated with your situation, and you liked it, right, too. That also, of course, matters, right? And if so, please comment down below. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and thank you so much if you choose to do any one of those 3 things as your reading draws to a close here. And as we say in our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day or your night, pile 1, and I hope to see you again in the woods someday soon. Goodbye. Hi there, pile number 2. Welcome to your ancestor message, and of course, as you recall, you were drawn most to the card of bees for your pile leader today. Now, this particular card, actually, most of the time when bees are in cardomancy, tarot decks, oracle decks, they tend to represent hard work, which is also true for this particular incarnation of like a bee-related card. However, this particular card focuses on both the patience side of hard work as well as your efforts paying off, okay? Because it's basically a card reminding us that progress and things that are really worth waiting for do take time. And so I wonder if you were drawn to this card today because your ancestor reaching out to you, or it could be multiple ancestors actually. Sometimes multiple ones come through with these readings. Either way, they know that you have been working on something recently, that either the progress has felt kind of slow, or you feel as if you aren't going as fast as you want it to go, or something that has, even if it's not frustrating you on the timing end, it's taken a lot of patience and mastery, just like bees, well, they have to do when they collect all that pollen, bit by tiny bit, creating honey. So worth it in the end, right? But that's why we have the phrase worker bee, right? Because they work very, very hard, and it takes a long time to make the product of worth, okay, to make their honey. So that's what your ancestor wants to reach out to you about today, at least part of the message. We'll see if there's some like mini messages. Pile 1 had some other separate messages too, so I wouldn't be shocked if you do as well. On top of that, you might actually associate this ancestor too with bees. Maybe they were a gardener. Maybe they really liked bees in terms of like, jewelry they wore, or maybe, interior decorating, things like that, things that they like to wear. If you knew this person in their lifetime, sometimes ancestors come through that we don't quite know because they're before our lifetime, but if you do recognize them, they might have had an affinity for bees, so... Anyways, speaking of, to figure out more about who this ancestor is, we're going to ask the Archetypes deck and your ancestor to help us identify it themselves through that method. So let's do that right now. If I can get the deck together. Wants to stick. Okay. Ancestor of pile 2, or maybe even multiple ancestors, but if you could define yourself with one archetype card, how would you want to identify yourself to pile 2 today? Thank you. Okay, I'm drawn to this one. We have, Thief. Interesting. Light attribute. Sheds light on the potential wealth within you that can never be stolen. Shadow attribute. Stealing money, creative ideas, affection, or other powers you think you lack. Okay, so quite bluntly, very possible in their lifetime this ancestor actually was a thief of some sort, pile 2. They might have struggled with, poverty, might have struggled with stealing things, right? They might have struggled with kind of being on the other side of the law, so to speak, right? So that is at least one way that they're identifying themselves to you, and or it's very possible that they, even if they didn't physically actually like inhabit the archetype of the thief, there was a lot about their life feeling as if they were stolen from a lot, or like they stole something from others a lot, even if it wasn't tangible goods. It's something along those lines. And I think that's actually part of why they're reaching out to you today, connecting this to your bees pile leader card, is because I think in their life, especially if they were actually literally a thief, they took shortcuts, okay? They were somebody that maybe didn't want to wait for good things to come. Because oftentimes, I guess people are thieves for different reasons, right? But a lot of times it's because they desire something that they don't have, right? Hence why they steal. But it's a shortcut instead of having just earned it themselves, right? So they might have had to do a lot of life lessons regarding, earning worth versus just taking worth from others. And so this is why, as I said, they're coming to you now, is because they're like, I had to learn that in my life. And that's not to say that you are a thief, pile 2, but whatever project or thing that you've been doing recently, where you've been struggling with that feeling of either the frustration of, God, this is taking so long, I wish I could just skip forward, or it's taken you a lot of time to enact and learn that mastery, and it's taken a lot of patience. They're commending you for your patience, and they're also saying for those of you that have been more on kind of the frustrated side, that they 100% understand where you're coming from, right? But they're saying, don't do what I did. Not that you would, but don't do what I did, at least in terms of, you know, the feel of skipping ahead, or the feel of like, oh, I'll do this thing faster, because they're saying really in this situation, just like the bees working on their hive and their honey, good things come to those who wait and are patient. Okay, so that's at least the first way that they wanted to identify themselves, right? They might have also been from an era where they wore clothes like this too. I almost want to say, I don't even know, would that be like 1920s, 1930s? Guess it really depends too on what culture they were from as well. This one almost kind of feels like 1920s, 30s America to me, but not sure. Could have been masculine energy too. This is technically a masculine figure in the card. Let's look at your main tarot cards, or I should say your first spread of tarot cards, because we do 2 tarot spreads in this reading today. We're going to ask them more about themselves, as well as if they can say more about what it is that they want to reach out to about either expanding upon the message we already discussed or adding some more. So, Ancestor of Pile 2. What more can you tell us about yourself that they might recognize you by, or that you at least want them to know? We have the Queen of Pentacles. They were very security focused. Definitely, because Queen of Pentacles is someone who is secure in their money. They're someone who has a lot, or at least they feel, even if it's not like a big sum or number of money, they feel at least secure enough, right? Even if they're not outwardly like the King of Pentacles, like has accumulated a lot of literal physical wealth, okay? It also can mean that they were an earth sign. This does tend to lean feminine because it is a queen, but we'll see what other cards pop out too. How else do you want to identify yourself, Ancestor? Oh, maybe it really was a feminine ancestor. So actually it could be 50-50. Maybe half of you it's a male ancestor, and half of you it's a feminine ancestor. But we do have 2 queens, so I want to lean more towards this was a feminine ancestor. Yes, also could have been an air sign too, because Queen of Swords tends to be an air sign, where they had a lot of earth and air placement in their astrological chart. They're saying that there's someone who not only mastered that feeling of security, but they're also someone who mastered being very clever and being very logical, very intelligent. They probably were a very smart person in this particular lifetime pile too. Because the Queen of Swords is someone who is usually very intelligent, very wise with their money. Okay. And then let's ask more about what they want to say to you. Ancestor, what else would you like to say to pile 2 today? You know, they might have actually went through the stock market crash of, what was that, 1929 pile 2? Maybe that's also why thief came out for some of you listening to this with your aunt, because if they weren't like literally a thief, they might have felt as if they had accumulated a lot of wealth and then lost it all, like they were stolen from. I'm hearing the stock market crash and the Great Depression for some of you with your ancestor. Okay, let's just keep that in mind. And then we have, okay, justice. Number 1, they also want to talk to you today about either a legal problem you've been having, or something that is not, even if like a tangible legal justice related thing, it's something about what's fair to you. Okay, keep that in mind. Also, once again, we have air with justice, which might have been they were a Libra. Okay. And then we have the World, wanting to end something coming to an end. So actually, we're going to split this reading a little bit in a different way than I usually do. If you're familiar with my videos, usually I have kind of like a timeline reading with the main tarot cards. Today, actually, what I'm going to do, after we draw your final oracle card here, which I'll do while I'm speaking, is we're going to ask this ancestor to expand more on these topics with little mini readings. Okay, so I won't elaborate too much because you'll see as we go that we're more specifically honing in on specific questions. Okay, Ancestor pile 2, what else would you like to say? We have Lantern number 44, consciousness is light. Once again, makes me think of the World card of something coming to an end, because this is actually the very last card in the Lantern Oracle, hence, title drop Lantern, right? It is a card of the culmination of lessons that we have learned from one phase of life before we move into the new, just like we're accumulating light into a lantern of the wisdom that we've learned before. That will help us shine light on the shadows of the next chapter ahead to help us navigate that much easier, I guess, to kind of summarize that card in one sentence. And so they're saying that, I think, they're like re-emphasizing for you that there's a cycle coming to an end here and you're entering a new one. Okay, pile 2. There's also a lot about like yellow kind of gold colors here. I don't know if they liked the color yellow a lot, or they had, say, blonde hair, or kind of like a more gold toned eye color. Like I would say that would be kind of, I guess, hazel or amber. They also might have, as I said, it could have been their favorite color. It could have been they liked a lot of like yellow or gold in their interior decorating. I'm hearing that as well with this particular ancestor, okay? Or they lived in like a yellow house, something along those lines. Yes, okay. So let's ask the main tarot spread here. Or actually mini card spread, like I said. First we'll ask your ancestor more about the justice situation. Okay, so ancestor of pile 2, what do you mean by the justice situation? The fairness, possibly a legal thing. What do you want to tell them about that? Thank you. We have judgment. Looks like New Orleans. Could have possibly they lived in New Orleans, right? Very beautiful. We have the mausoleums here. And that does mean moving on to the next world, moving to the next level of something. Also positive judgment. So if any of you are currently in like legal cases of some sort or having some sort of court-related thing, positive judgment would mean that the legal or court thing goes in your favor. So I just do want to mention that. We also have the card of the 5 of Wands reversed. Okay, removing competition. It's not so stuffy or not so claustrophobic with this situation either. That really kind of depends on the third card, so we'll pull out that one. Let's see. And then we have the Empress reversed. No longer nurturing something, no longer having to mother something. Some of you, it could be related to a negative relationship with your mother. Sometimes that's what the Empress reverse represents too. But to summarize for all of you, the justice situation is a court legal thing going in your favor, number one. Also, something becoming fairer to you in terms of receiving more positive judgment in a situation where it has been kind of competitive before and you feel as if you're not being given enough to thrive. So as one example, this might not apply to all of you, but I'm just saying it to kind of illustrate what I mean. Like say you're at a particular job and you feel like recently you haven't been getting the resources that you need to do your job well, or you feel like there's been too much like competition for resources, or like you feel like other people are shining more in terms of standing out to, your manager, things like that. That will change in your favor, just as one example, okay? Or take that, as I always say with these readings, as how it resonates to your situation that you're feeling this applies to, okay? So that was the justice message they had for you. Let's next ask, actually, we're going to kind of rewind a little bit to the bees. We're going to ask this ancestor first if they could tell us more, too, about, let me think of the best way to phrase this, because I want to say it right? The thing that you have been working very hard on that has required a lot of patience. What else do they want to say about that? Thank you, Ancestor. File 2. What else do you want to say about the progress that's taken patience? The 6 of Cups. Something about the past. The Emperor reversed. Okay, it could be something regarding... It's interesting, that's a Great Wall of China, I believe, looks like it. Which does mean structure, logic, authority. However, reversed, it means something without structure or authority. Negative masculine energy, too. Very interesting twist here. Let's look at the third card before I say for sure. And then we have the 3 of Wands, or branches, which is launching ships or projects that we've already made plans for. Okay. This ancestor is saying, in terms of the thing that's taken a long time, it's required a lot of your patience. Let me tap in here for a second, because that 6 of Cups threw me for a loop. Oh, they're saying let go of the way that you used to structure things in the past and try new plans. Not don't let go of the thing that you're trying to achieve, pile 2. They're not saying, completely throw out the baby with the bathwater, to use the common phrase, but they are saying the old way of doing things in terms of your planning or your structure is part of what's causing progress to be a little slow. Okay, what would make it go faster is if you, number one, take more action on plans that you have already made, and or also trying to find new ways to structure your progress forward. Does that kind of make sense? That's what I'm hearing specifically from this ancestor. And then the third question is you're ending a cycle and you're starting a new chapter. Let's ask about that. Ancestor, what's this ending cycle? What's the new chapter? Thank you. Oh boy. I think those 3 cards already came out. Sure looks like 3. Could be 4. We'll see. Oh boy. We have... Actually, it's 2, and then I'll draw a third one. We have the Chariot reversed. Okay, feeling like we're lacking progress. Knight of Cups reversed. Speaking of setting sail. And then let's draw that third card here. Okay, what else would you like to say about the cycle ending in a new one? Thank you. 6 of Swords. You know what it is, pile 2. Almost called you pile 3. Pile 2. There's an area of your life where you have been feeling as if there has been not a lot of control. You feel as if things have been really chaotic, especially when it comes to actions taken regarding people's feelings or your own emotions, or part of the lack of progress or control over the chaos has been because you might not even know the emotions of why you are doing something or why someone else is taking action, okay? They're saying that cycle is ending with that particular part of your life that's been either kind of frustrating or confusing, and you are moving on, finally, with the 6 of Swords here, because you can even see it's like bridges between the mountains here. We're finally making progress, we're finally journeying along. And it's also a card of usually moving to greener pastures. Some of you might actually be literally physically moving, because you both got the Chariot and the 6 of Swords, and those both tend to be literally moving or driving a car or some sort of vehicle sort of cards, okay? So yeah, as I said, it might be literally a physical move, or it could also just be something in general, with those qualities of being chaotic and being kind of hard to control, and it not making... a lot of your actions or someone else's actions in the situation have been kind of messy emotionally in terms of the why of they're taking actions, or they've been taking actions with a little bit too much emotion driving the logic and not enough of logic driving the logic, you know what I mean? Okay. Yes, that's coming to an end, and you're moving to greener pastures in that area of life too, okay? And at the very end here, I'm just going to tap in with this ancestor and see if there's any intuitive messages that they want to send to you, that aren't related to tarot. So let's just ask right now, Ancestor pile 2, what else would you like to say? Thank you. They say you've been collecting your coins for something. Saving up almost like a piggy bank. And you don't have a lot yet. But they're saying that whatever you're saving for, pile 2, is going to be a very big victory in the end. Because they're almost showing it giving you a laurel crown, which is traditionally a laurel crown means you have won or had victory, right? I don't know why this is. Some of you, it's something to do with a boat, too. This is really odd. I don't know, maybe some of you are saving for a boat. I don't know. Or, some sort of, vacation on a cruise, which also, of course, would be a boat, right? They're saying that's a really good idea. They approve of that particular thing that you're saving up for, and they say it's going to work out really well, okay? We'll see if there's anything else. No. Okay. So they said that's what my final thing they want to tell you is good on you for saving money in that metaphorical piggy bank. Okay. Good thing. All right, so that was your ancestor message for today, pile 2, or multiple of them, right? As we had quite a few good things. All seems like lots of positive progress, especially with that thing ending that you kind of feel like maybe wanted to end, and of course that positive judgment and new cycles coming through, your hard work paying off and whatnot. So if you liked the reading, if it resonated with you, if you feel helped in some way, that's my main goal with these readings, please like the video, please comment down below, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and thank you so much if you choose to do any of those things as your reading draws to an end here today. And as we say in our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day or your night, pile 2, and I hope to see you again in the woods someday soon. Bye. Hi there, pile number 3. Welcome today to your ancestor message, and of course, as you recall, you were most drawn to the pile leader of the Hare, number 21. And this Hare is very specifically surrounded by 4-leaf clovers for a reason. Now, because this particular card represents, well, multiple things. It does represent also imagination. It does also represent your intuition. It also represents being adaptable and being willing to move along with change. However, as I said with the 4-leaf clovers, it is also a very positive sign of luck for you here in the near future, specifically with something that you have either closed your heart to, or something that you feel as if there is no hope for, or something you feel as if will never come your way. Okay? So I wonder if your ancestor is reaching out to you today because they want to help inspire hope in you in some way. So I don't know if it's like a project that you've been working on and you feel as if it has been slowing down, or you're like, oh, this will never get anywhere, or some sort of dream that you've had that you've really been yearning and seeking for, reaching for, and it feels like it always eludes your grasp, or whatever has been happening in your life recently that feels as if your hopes have been dashed against the rocks. That is exactly what your ancestor wants to talk to you today about. Of course, there will probably be other messages. Every single pile today has had multiple messages from their ancestor, but that's at least the first kind of theme that we're looking at for you today. So we'll put your pile leader over here to the left, and let's begin with actually identifying more about who this ancestor is with the archetypes cards. And on top of that, the ancestor might have been someone who was drawn to hares or rabbits as an animal. Maybe they had a lot of rabbit figurines, or it was a favorite animal of theirs too. We do see that sometimes with these pile leader cards today. Like pile 2 might have been beasts, as you saw in the intro, but yours would have been, an ancestor that preferred, like rabbits, or maybe it could have been that they were Irish too. We see that with the clover, with the shamrock, right? We will see what else pops out with their archetypes. So speaking of Irish, we have something very green. Scribe, light attribute, preserving knowledge and information. Shadow attribute, altering facts or plagiarizing others' work. So I will tell you this, pile 3. This is someone who, yes, I'm feeling very strongly that, if not specifically Irish, though I think a lot of you, this person might have been Irish, they were from an area of the world that was very lush and green. There's a lot of green. Also might have been one of their favorite colors, too. We also have here, it looks like some sort of fruit on her dress. Some of them look like green apples. Some of them almost look like strawberries. I don't know, maybe if they had an apple orchard or grew berries a lot too. Could have had dark hair as well. Looking at the figure here, maybe a bit more olive or tan of complexion as well. And specifically, did I also mention their favorite color might have been green? That too, on top of that. Just someone who is very nurturing. Someone who is very... wise is another keyword really coming through for this ancestor. Now, some of you might not recognize who this is, because ancestors do come through that, were before our lifetimes. We didn't necessarily get to meet them. Although sometimes, too, you might have just heard about them. But for those of you who did recognize them in life, you have actually met them before they passed on, right? Yeah, definitely wise. I would say that's kind of the main descriptor coming forward for them. On top of that being scribe, as the archetype that they chose to represent themselves with today. Someone who wrote a lot, someone who was very smart, especially when it came to knowledge and information. They might have actually worked at, say, a university or a library, or they, helped create books in some way, or they were someone whose job was very centralized around either, like I said, creating books or preserving knowledge in some way, or it's also possible that even if they didn't do it for a career, pile 3, it was very important to them. Okay. I'm hearing that some of them didn't necessarily get to do it as a career because of either social expectations at the time of when they were alive, like, just as one example, for a long time women weren't really in the workforce, right? Okay, so they might have actually wanted to do this, but they weren't able to, so yeah, especially with feminine ancestors, I'm hearing. Okay, let's look at the other cards. We'll first bring out your main, or at least first tarot spread, I should say. So we'll first ask the ancestor to identify themselves a little bit more with the first 2 cards, and then the second 2 cards will ask a little bit more about what they want to talk to you about, on top of having hope for something. So, ancestor, tell us more about you. Might get some astrological signs here. We have, a Queen of Wands. Very confident. They did not lack self-esteem, okay? A Queen of Wands is someone who is very vibrant. They are very confident in themselves. They are most likely a fire sign. They might have even had cats. We do see a cute little black kitty down here, as we always do with the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands, very beautiful energy. Probably fire sign, but we'll see. We have also the Knight of Swords. Okay, so some of them might have also been air signs, or they had a lot of air and fire energy in their astrological chart. I'm not getting a specific gender. I think because this is a general reading, some of you this will be a male ancestor, some of you will be this a female ancestor, because we do have the Queen, which is feminine, right? And then the Knight I kind of see as both genders. I don't really read as male or female, but sometimes, literally it is a male figure here. So, and on top of that, fire and air are the masculine elements in tarot. So I'd say 50-50 masculine, feminine energy here. And they also were someone who was they might have talked very quickly. Someone who wasn't afraid to be bold with what they wanted to say. They also, there's something I'm hearing that was very specific about their voice. I don't know if that means either, like some of you, it might have been an accent, or there was something about the way that they talked, like maybe they stuttered. It's something about like the quickness of the way that they talked, or there might have been some sort of like speech impediment that they had, technically. Very something distinct about the way that they spoke, as I'm hearing that they're coming forward with, okay? And witty, too, on top of that. Quick wit. Probably quite funny. I feel like this person had a good sense of humor, okay? And then we'll ask more about what they want to say to you, topics in general, or areas of life. Thank you, Ancestor, pile 3. We have, the King of Cups. Very possibly they want to discuss with you someone who is a masculine water sign in your life. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles, feminine earth sign. Very possible for some of you, this is a relationship where one of you is the feminine earth sign and someone is a masculine water sign. So it might be actually a combined kind of category here. In general, too, it's very possible that if it's not specifically a person that they're regarding or discussing here, like if I said, masculine water sign and feminine earth sign, and you're like, I have no idea who that is. It's then a situation where you have been required to have a lot of emotional maturity, or that's been kind of a contention point in that particular situation. And then with the Queen of Pentacles, that would be a situation where security has been kind of a question or a topic on your mind. Okay, so when I read the main spread today, I'm actually going to do, if you're familiar with my videos, I'm going to do it kind of a different way today. I'm not going to do the main timeline spread. I'm going to ask specific questions. I will read for both situations for this general reading. So both if you're recognizing this as people, or if it's more about the energy of a situation, okay? So keep that in mind. Let's next, though, draw your oracle card, your last oracle deck today. And we'll see if there's any other specific areas that this ancestor wants to expand upon, too, okay? that they might have had buck teeth too. There's something about their mouth. I know I talked about their accent or their voice before, but with the Hare, I'm hearing something about buck teeth or something with their front teeth that was very prominent. Okay, pile 3. And then we have presence of absence, number 35. Hold what is absent in the presence of your love. So I wonder if you lost something recently too, pile 3. You might have actually lost a family member. Maybe this person, if you recognize them from this lifetime, you lost them recently. In which case they know in the ways that you've been reflecting upon how you miss them, I'm hearing specifically. They know that you've been feeling sad over their departure. And they're saying for some of you, I'm getting an intuitive message here. 1 second. Apologies for the silence. Now this might not resonate with all of you, pile 3, but some of you, for those of you that have had a passed on loved one that you've been reflecting on a lot lately, I don't know if you've been like clipping certain things, like cutting out pictures with them in it, or it's something along those lines, like you're cutting, scrapbooking maybe, something along those lines. They say that they've noticed that. They know that you're doing that. And they appreciate that, is what they're telling me to tell you, okay? Yeah, something about scrapbooking or like cutting out pictures or like putting collages together, or it could even be like in a digital way too. Like putting like digital pictures together, something along those lines. Okay. I did want to make sure to emphasize that to those of you who have lost someone recently. Okay, so let's look at the specific questions. So first question we're going to ask is, going all the way back, rewind to your pile leader, the Hare, something that they want you to keep out hope for. So Ancestor of pile 3, what do you want them to keep out hope for? Or what do you want to say on that situation? Something lucky coming their way too, I think is what you meant to say. What's the hope message? We have the 2 of Swords reversed. Okay, a situation where you feel as if you had no choice. The 6 of Wands reversed, a situation where you feel as if you did not earn or not achieve victory. Okay, oh no, no wonder why you've been losing hope. Okay, you're like, well, this is not going well. And then we have, oh, literally, this is very beautiful, pile 3, and you know why? Because if you're familiar with the Star and Tarot, you'll know it literally is the card of having hope or faith that things will work out, especially because in the sequence of the major arcana, it comes right after the Tower. And the Tower is usually bad thing happens, okay? Or disaster happens. And then the Star comes out after that dark night of the soul. There's a situation in your life right now, your Ancestor is saying they know it's been going poorly. They know it feels as if you've been blocked into a corner and that you have no choice. And they also know that it feels as if you feel as if there's absolutely no way to win, okay? They're saying that, and it's hard to fully believe in it, and I understand that, because especially when we've had a hard time or a hardship, I mean, it's easy for me as a tarot reader here to say that your Ancestor says, you know, oh, it's going to work out, everything's going to be okay. Okay, I know that. I've been there myself. I've doubted tarot readings myself, and I think specifically that's coming forward is because this Ancestor is saying is that you're going to doubt it when I say that, or when they say that too, I guess. I guess we're both talking, right? But they're saying, please believe in that this thing will work out okay. All right? They know the struggle, they understand, but they're saying to have hope. There is luck coming in this area of your life soon. Okay? Keep that in mind. You don't have to believe it, but when it comes along, you'll be like, oh, okay, I guess they're right, you know? Anyways. But that's good. That means you have an analytical mind, they're saying, which is always good. And then the next question is, we wanted to ask specifically about these 2 areas, okay? Now, as I said before, we're going to read this both for people, for those of you who resonate with people that you identify with the King of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles, and situations. So we'll keep that in mind. Okay, Ancestor. I know it's a big ask because we're kind of asking multiple questions here, but if you mean the King of Cups message as a person in pile 3's life that you want to have advice or a message on, what would you say about the person King of Cups? The older water sign. Well, look at that. You got the King of Cups reversed. Okay. They're not acting very emotionally mature right now. This Ancestor is saying. Oh boy. Okay. And then they might have judged you kind of unfairly, pile 3. And on top of that, we have the Queen of Wands again. They're saying with this person to be confident. No matter what judgment they might throw your way, be confident and know that you're on the right path. Okay? If the King of Cups you recognize as a person. If you recognize the King of Cups as a situation where emotional maturity has been a factor, we'll ask about that, where it's not so much a person. Okay, so Ancestor, pile 3, if it's an emotional maturity situation, what do you want to say in terms of advice on that they've been maybe struggling with recently? Okay, they're saying deception revealed. Interesting. And then we have as the second card. Okay. In a situation where it's not a person, where emotional maturity has been kind of an issue, or that's been kind of the main theme, they're saying a deception will be revealed that will, or it might not necessarily be a deception, pile 3. It's very possible that it would be like someone trying to get away with something too. That's often what the Seven of Swords is about. But the good news is that they're going to get caught and it's going to be revealed. And the 5 of Pentacles reversed means overcoming a hardship in that area. Okay, so they want to send you good news with that emotional maturity situation. All right, there we go. Okay, we got the King of Cups done. And now let's do the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, Ancestor of pile 3. If the Queen of Pentacles is a person that pile 3 recognizes, what do you want to say about that situation in their life? Feminine earth sign. 7 of Cups. Choosing between different dreams. Could be your mother. Pile 3. Empress is usually mother energy. And we have the Earth again with Empress and the Queen of Pentacles. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles reversed. Very Earth energy oriented. Okay. If this is a person, they're saying in that situation, a lot of you might be your mother or a motherly figure. There needs to be something done regarding a choice that they're making, or that they're a choice making, like they're making it with you, regarding like dreams or goals, where the security isn't quite there yet. Either they're insecure about something with it, or like there needs to be more like security created around this situation so that this mother figure or feminine figure that is an earth sign feels more confident in making a choice of some sort. Okay? That is what I'm hearing from the Ancestor on that. And then if it is a situation where internal security has been a question or a theme, especially when it comes to like money, career, etc. Ancestor, pile 3, what would you say about if the Queen of Pentacles resonates with them as a situation? Thank you. We have the Tower. Well, speaking of the Tower, we had a situation where there was a disaster or something fell apart. But then we have Temperance, which is something finally coming into balance or moderation. God, look at all these major arcana, pile 3. Major life event happened with this for those of you that resonate with this as a situation rather than a person. This Ancestor is basically saying that you might have had a really major setback in this area of life, hence the Tower. It feels like everything kind of fell apart. A major setback of some sort, but they're saying it's going to not only resolve itself in terms of things balancing out again, because Temperance is about moderation between extremes, hence water versus fire here. And on top of that, the volcano, we always associate kind of with destruction, right? But really what it does, especially when you look at islands like, say, Hawaii, or other volcanic islands around the world, it creates new life. And so something from the destruction of that security related thing is actually going to create new fertile ground for something else that will help you manifest something that you've been looking for. Because the Magician is all about manifesting our will and bringing into creation things from that were originally from either above or our mind and making them physical. Okay? So they're basically saying with that then, out of a bad situation, you're going to find new fertile ground, more balance, things kind of getting back to even keel, okay? And success with manifesting out of that, Okay, so they're saying there's silver linings to whatever that setback or disaster was, okay? All right, and then at the very end here, just like all different piles today, sorry about all the tarot cards, there's so many of them. It's kind of a messy desk today, but that's okay. As I did with all piles today, at the end, I'm going to ask if there's any intuitive messages your ancestor wants to send to you that's not related to tarot. So I'm going to tap in right now, and apologies for the silence as I do that. Something about you writing down something in a notebook recently. Some of you, it might have been a diary. Some of you, it might be some sort of notebook for planning something. It's just like, I see you, they're saying you're writing down something a lot. Like physical handwriting, not typing on a keyboard or anything. And something to do with stars, which makes me think of the star card you got earlier in terms of you keeping out hope for something. They're saying in terms of the thing that you feel like you've lost hope for, that they're telling you to keep your hope in, right? As hard as it is, and as much as you might not believe them, right? They're saying it might help you to write down your feelings about that situation, or that you already have been, and that they've been watching over you when you've been doing that. And or if it's not a diary and it's more like a notebook situation, pile 3, it's like they've been watching you write down those plans for that goal that you've been like losing hope or faith in. I don't know why they're focusing on that very specifically. Let me ask one last thing here. Yes, write down your feelings. They're saying that. And then it'll heal your heart. Oh, and they're saying it'll help you see the sunrise or the dawn again. Do you tend to do it a lot too, right as the sun is rising in the morning, pile 3, for those of you resonating with this part of the message? Or they're saying do it in the morning, right when you get up, if you don't already. Okay? Something about as in the morning. Okay, that's the last message they're leaving with me for you today, okay, pile 3. So, with that being said, I hope you liked your ancestor message today, or obviously we had multiple based on the amount of tarot cards, right? I hope that you found it helpful. I hope that you liked it. I hope it resonated, right? And if so, please like the video. Please comment down below. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And thank you so much if you choose to do any of those 3 things as your reading wraps up to its end here. And as we say in our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day or your night, pile 3. And I hope to see you again in the woods someday soon. Bye.